Hello and welcome to day 17 of the Beer Jerk Advent Calendar. I'm
Hello.
Matt.
And I'm Luke.
And today we are here drinking a Bire De Garde from Kainui Brewing up in Northland. Now this, you'll notice the very expensive commercial label on this one. This was hand bottled and labelled for us by a good mate Gary at Kainui. You may know Gary from the New Zealand Brewer podcast, but Kainui is a fantastic little brewery up in Northland there.
Yeah, Gary doesn't send a lot of his beers outside of the far north, really. So the best place to drink Kainui is at their brewery tap, the Plough Feather, which is just the most incredible venue. Cheers. Because it's in the most amazing location next to the ocean, but also they just always have a rotating array of super interesting beers. There's lots of things that are aged in barrels and saisons, and more traditional beers like bitters and things like a Bière De Garde, as well as hop forward styles, great lagers. His Irish dry stout is perfection. So Kainui picked up a bunch of awards a couple of years ago, and they got in the New World Top 100 and things.
Yeah, that was their porter, I believe. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head.
But then they sort of pulled back, and we haven't seen any packaged Kainui beers in a couple of years, really.
But they're still operating up there, putting out a bunch of great beers, and as Luke said, they've got a fantastic barrel program, which this is a result of. So this is a barrel-aged Bière De Garde with Rewarewa honey. And
what's a Bière De Garde?
So a Bière De Garde is basically, it's kind of the French version of a saison. So it's a kind of rustic farmhouse ale from northern France, and it's a really broad style. Bière De Garde literally translates as beer for keeping or beer for aging. So it was often brewed in the winter, where you've got kind of cold and more predictable temperatures, which are suitable for some more stable brewing, and then drunk throughout the year. And it comes in a range of colours, from kind of the super pale kind of saison bright colours through to a kind of rich amber, through to dark Bière De Gardes. And this is a really interesting example. So this one is 8.1%, I believe, barrel aged with locally sourced honey, and it's got this really interesting kind of malty yet dry mouthfeel to it. Like you get those kind of honey notes, a kind of really rich, complex malt character, and a little bit of yeast expression now on the palate, but finishes super dry.
Yeah, I'm getting a lot of the just pure honey flavour in there, but just without the sweetness of honey, which is obviously quite an unusual experience. But yeah, it's dry. It's pretty moorish.
Yeah, it's got a real kind of earthy note across the middle of the palate, which is just kind of delicate. And a kind of a little bit of a spritzy carbonation, which kind of sets off those kind of spice notes from the yeast really well.
It's really beautiful. So I'm so happy we managed to strong arm Gary into bottling this beer for us.
I think it was a pain in the ass for him hand bottling every bottle of this. So this is exclusive to the Advent Calendar, and we've had a lot of exclusives in the Advent Calendar so far, and a lot of those have been imported specifically by us and packaged specifically for us, but maybe available elsewhere. This is the only place you're probably ever going to drink this beer, unless there's maybe someone having Plough Feather, I'm not sure, but really special to be able to get hold of a beer like this.
I did get a call from Gary at Kainui a couple of days before he was going to ship this beer. He just bottled it, and he just called me up and said, "Oh, Luke, just checking you don't need labels for these Advent beers, do you?" I said, "Well, yes, of course we do. It's a legal requirement." I said, "Oh, I thought they were going in the Advent, so you could just tell everyone about them in your videos." So we had a bit of a chat, and then he went off to Warehouse Stationery and got some labels. But it's the beer that matters, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And as long as you know what it is, and yeah, it's a really nice example. And
well, you won't find Kainui on. I'm pretty sure they're not on Facebook. They're definitely not on Instagram.
Yeah.
Maybe one of you will have to add this to Untapped yourself. And just a lovely approach to beer, where it's not just about brand, it's not about cool labels, it's just make a fantastic beer.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. Well, cheers. And
cheers.
To Gary. If you want to hear more from Gary, check out the New Zealand Brewer podcast. I'm not sure they've released an episode for a while, but there's definitely, if you want to hear more about his process and his take on beer, it's another really good source alongside the Beer Jerk podcast, which should already be in your feed.
It is. Cheers everybody, enjoy, see you tomorrow.